The wrestlers' protest is currently in a stalemate at this point in time. They are awaiting the decision on July 4th because 6 months protest will actually come to a fulfillment on July 4th. But in the meanwhile, the wrestlers are planning to get back to their normal business and they want to wrestle in the upcoming meets as well. Remember, the Asian Games and the World Championships are the next big things that are there. Now, the wrestlers want to go for the Asian Games. And with this proposal that they have sent to the WFI ad hoc committee, the battle lines have once again been drawn. And this time, Vinesh Phogat has indulged in a very, very ugly standoff with you may say, Yogeshwar Dutt on this supposed proposal. Only one bout to determine whether these protesting wrestlers can go for the Asian Games or you may say for the World Championships. Now, before I come to the Vinesh Phogat and Yogeshwar Dutt standoff, I will tell you what is the background of this entire story and why is it a controversial call to say the least. So, the protesting wrestlers, Vinesh Phogat and 5 others, they have gotten a boost with the WFI ad hoc committee then sending a letter by stating Asian Games and World Championships selection reduced to a one-bout competition for 6 protesting wrestlers. So, only one bout and that is it. The wrestlers can seal their spot in the events that are there. Asian Games and World Championships. And why is this development important? Because the deadline for sending the wrestlers is fast approaching and that is July 15th. So, who are the 6 protesting wrestlers who have gotten this one bout opportunity? Sakshi Malik, Bajrang Punia, Vinesh Phogat, Satyavarth Kadian, Sangeeta Phogat and Jitendra Kumar. These were the 6 guys who were the faces of the protests that happened from January itself. Jantar Mantar protests part 2, it became even more intense. These 6 wrestlers were in it. Now, what is the protocol that will now be followed? Wrestlers had requested WFI ad hoc to appear in Asia trials. They had requested the WFI ad hoc committee at this point in time that they wanted to come for the Asian Games trials. Elite wrestlers were exempted from the past trials. In the past, WFI had this policy that whatever were the elite wrestlers, they would be exempted from the trials because of injury or some other issue. But this time, the situation is because they were in the protests for 3 to 4 months and they wanted the removal of Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, they have made a request to the WFI ad hoc committee to ensure that they come to the Asian Games trials at least. Now remember, today is June 23. Another 22 days, the trials, the deadline ends. Asian Games trials before the deadline of July 15th. They have to finalize the wrestling names before this deadline. But the date of the trials for the protesting wrestlers for the Asian Games is from August 5 to August 15th. Now, what is the situation? Names can be replaced if protesting wrestlers beat trials winners of each weight category. So, it is simple. Whatever is the weight category, the 57 kilo, 65 kilo, lightweight, heavyweight, all those trials will be conducted before July 15th. The winners of those trials can then be sent to the OCA, which is the Olympic Council of Asia. They will ratify it. But if the protesting wrestlers beat the wrestlers who had won the trials in their respective weight categories, then they can go to the Asian Games. Now, this opens up a totally new Pandora's box when it comes to whether it is fair or not. Because this is the backdrop. Sports Ministry through the IOA, they had requested an extension of the deadline instead of July 15th to August 15th to the Olympic Council of Asia. No Olympic berths in the Asiad. Remember, this Asian Games, there is no Olympic quota for the wrestling contingent. But after the Asiad, the major event is the World Wrestling Championships in Serbia, and that has plenty of spots for the Olympics. So, more than Asiad, the World Championships was much more important. IOA had asked the NSFs, that's the National Sporting Federations, to provide the details of their respective squads by 30th June. 30th June so that they could adhere to the deadline and conduct the trials and finish it off by the July 15th deadline. But final decision rests with the OCA. If they do not extend the deadline past July 15th, then these wrestlers may not get a chance to go to the Asian Games and the World Championships. So, this is the situation. The wrestlers had requested one bout. The one bout will happen from August 5 to August 15th. But the trials will be conducted before July 15th. The names of the winners of those trials will be sent to the OCA for ratification. But if the protesting wrestlers beat the trials winners, their names will then go to the Asian Games. And the final decision rests with the OCA. Now, how fair is this? Barring these 6 who are in the protests, the remainder of the wrestling contingent have to go through the full trial rounds. This includes the under 23, the Asian winners like Aman Sehrawat. He won gold recently. Now he has to go through the full trials. All the wrestlers have to undergo the full trials. But with just one bout for these 6, accusations of favoritism will come about. And Yogeshwar Dutt on his social media has said that it is a black day for wrestling because you have been unfair to the other wrestlers and you are also taken into consideration that these people have not been on the mat for some time. How could you directly give them the one bout? But things have taken a very ugly turn with Vinesh Phogat having a big tweet on Yogeshwar Dutt's statement. Vinesh Phogat said, योगेश्वर दत्त का वीडियो सुना तो उसकी वो घटिया हंसी दिमाग में अटक गई। वह महिला पहलवानों के लिए बनी दोनों कमेटियों का हिस्सा था। जब कमेटी के सामने महिला पहलवान अपनी आप बीती बता रही थी तो वह बहुत घटिया तरह से हंसने लगता। Now that has taken a very personal tone. The ugly laughter jibe that Yogeshwar Dutt has really made the situation even worse. Now she goes on, एक दूसरी महिला पहलवान को बड़े भद्दे तरीके से बोला कि ये सब तो चलता रहता है. So now she has really said what did Yogeshwar Dutt do when he was part of the committee to investigate the sexual harassment charges. And समाज में कोई भी अन्याय के खिलाफ आवाज उठाए तो योगेश्वर जरूर उल्टियां करता है. So whenever accusations have been raised, Yogeshwar Dutt has chosen to go against them. And basically it is this particular tweet, this two-part tweet, that has made this a very ugly situation indeed. Now, it is an open debate. Do these 6 protesting wrestlers get an automatic chance with just one bout, considering that from June 30th onwards all the way until the July 15th deadline, most of India's middle level, low level wrestlers, they will have to undergo the whole grind. Lot of other parents of the wrestlers, lot of other backers of the wrestlers have said this is totally unfair. Favoritism existed even in the WFI regime under Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh. Now, this same thing has been out in the open. You chose to protest, putting everything at stake. But now, you also want to redeem yourself and reduce the chances of the other wrestlers also. What if you do not win the Asian Games gold? What if you don't win the World Wrestling Championships medal? Remember, in the past, Vinesh and Bajrang are Asian Games winners, World Championship medalists as well. But you have not been on the mat for close to 1 year. How will you go about it? And remember, these kind of favoritisms is the major reason why they have made friends and they have made enemies in the wrestling fraternity as well. Remember, wrestling is a very dodgy situation when it comes to Indian, if you may say, management. Now, with these kind of things, just one bout, when the other wrestlers have to go through the full trials, is it fair? Drop us your views in the comments section, and thank you so much folks for joining us for this video. We'll be back with more updates on Sports Today. Tap that bell icon so you know when we go live, and don't forget we are on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram as well. Thank you.